We are very happy to have the beginning of our third day in Athens. We are going to start with the interview of a Greek businesswoman. Miss Evi Papadopoulou here is going to talk to us about her initiative, her business, how she started, what difficulties she faced, and what she is actually doing right now.
Yes.
We are going, first of all, I want you to tell us how you pronounce it.
Le Greche.
Le Greche.
Le Greche means the Greek women, which was iconic for me. It was very important for me because when I started imagining and making projects about this plan, choosing the name of my brand was very important to me because I wanted this to give to the world a meaning for what I do. So after searching for years and years, because it was a plan that was in my mind for years, then this came to me and I said, this is it, because it's a brand that combines my idea behind it, which exactly had to do with women being entrepreneurs, being productive, being creative, all this power and insight and yes, all these qualities that women can bring into a business, and especially Greek women. Who according to me had been left aside for decades in the business sector. And then I said, we'll say it in Italian, because this way we combine Greece and Italy, which was the true concept of what I did.
Perfect. Did you have any connection to Italy before? Or?
Yes, this was another very charming story, really, because me, as a young woman, I had studied mathematics, and I had worked as a mathematics teacher for some 20 years. In the meantime, which is what I love about it. We all have these special gifts, and we all have our hobbies and things that make our days. Well, these things are exactly what the right way to get into business. I think that they kind of guide us. So I was passionate about the Italian opera as a young woman. So I was listening to the opera, and I was crazy about Maria Callas. So I said, I will learn Italian. And I started studying Italian, and I loved the language, of course, but I had never had any idea that it would come handy in my profession. And as the years passed, and this thing about ice cream and sweets started building into me as an idea that could turn into a business. I had to study from the beginning, and this is where Italian came really handy, because I was able to go to an Italian school, which was where the lessons were only in Italian, and this was just there. And I was happy because my hobbies kind of guided me into building the business.
So, how many years ago did you decide to start with the ice cream idea and soap and everything behind it? And why? Like, what did you motivate you?
Well, another nice thing about it is that before deciding to start a gelato business, I had decided already that I would become a businesswoman. This became before, because I had reached a certain level in my profession when I said I have given enough. One thing was this. The second thing, which was really important to me, was that I had my daughter. for many women, having children becomes a drawback. Like, now I have children, I can't do anything. Well, I think this is completely wrong. I think that our children give us the urge, the power to do bigger things with our lives. When I started imagining and having this vision of becoming a businesswoman, I said, well, this is great for my daughter, because my daughter will look up to me, will have a role model of a very dynamic woman who produces, who does things, instead of having the role model of a mother that just is there and probably has problems with, has to struggle with the economics of the family or with relationships that turn bad and so on. So instead of looking at my child as a problem, I looked at her as an opportunity, as a motive. So it was 5 years ago that I said, well, I'm ready to do it. And I started programming what I should do. This is a phase that's very important, because it's even more important if you're a woman, because especially in the northern countries of Europe, being a woman and a businesswoman is not really accepted. It's not like, you know, everybody knows that families will finance boys to start a business of their own, but they rarely do this to their daughters. So it's not an easy path. You're not promoted into doing this, and you have to tear down all these stereotypes first. But what is more important, you have to tear them down inside of you first, and then this security, this self-confidence that you have will start building on your environment. So you have to be certain for yourself beforehand, which means you have to build your plan very carefully. Not talk too much, but work too much. Because otherwise it's very easy for your environment to say, well, you're not really into it, you're not going to do it, you're not going to make it, you don't have the guts to work that much, you don't have the guts to fight with all these problems that you're going to face. So you have to be really determined. I think this is the first step. Mm-hmm.
And then you decide that you actually want to be a businesswoman, and then you have this idea of this gelato shop.
Yes, and then the idea came. I was traveling in Italy. I have traveled very often in Italy. I love this country. So I said, this kind of gelato, this top-notch gelato that you don't find everywhere, it would be very interesting if I would be able to produce it using Greek ingredients. So I was lucky to choose a school in Italy where I stopped everything. I paused all my life, and I went there to study from scratch, because you cannot start things, you cannot really invest in things that you don't know in depth. This is another thing that you really had to do, because otherwise your initiative, what you try to do is probably about to fail. Times are very tough, and we cannot depend on our luck anymore. We should depend on our knowledge, our deep knowledge of the market, of business planning. We have to do our homework. Another thing that I have to tell you is that my husband totally backed me on this, and we all moved to Italy together. Yes, because he so believed in this. But later on, it's changed. Because things cannot be that perfect and easy. Well, when I was about to do it, when it was all in paper, when it was theoretical, he was backing me. But then it was about to happen. When it was about to happen, he backed off. Yes, because probably he also wasn't very sure about how a woman could run a business, and he was afraid that he would lose his money. And I had to fight this, really, with all means, even threatened with divorce or even suicide. Yes, I was so determined.
And you proved him wrong.
Yes, of course. I went to Italy. I studied, and then there I met a very important person in the gelato business worldwide, and he trusted me. Trusted my character and my way of learning things, and probably, as an afterthought, he trusted the fact that I was not Italian, and I would not cause him competition. So I developed this professional connection to this person, from whom I took a lot, and I left my family almost during all the summers, and I went to Italy and I worked with him pro gratis. I was not paid, and that's another thing that is very important. Sometimes we have to make sacrifices, and in order to learn things, according to me, it's not like the wages, the paycheck is always important. Sometimes knowledge is more important than the paycheck. So I worked there pro gratis for months, during the summer months, 16 hours a day, 8 hours in the morning in the gelato laboratory, and then in the evening selling gelato. And notice that I was a mathematician with a postgraduate degree, and I had done many things in my life, and I was just putting my cap on and my apron, and I was serving gelato because I had to learn. And when you have to learn, you have to leave all things aside when you follow your passion.
And then, after all of this experience, the thing I don't know, but you come back to Greece.
Yes, I come back to Greece.
All of this nice gelato.
And I start looking for ways to have money in order to make the investment, which is the other part. And this is the hard part.
Yeah.
And because I also entered a European program for financing new businesses. In my case, it wasn't even the Women Entrepreneurship Program, but it was the Innovation Entrepreneurship Program. And my file got approved, and it was all looking that it would turn out fine. But then my husband said, "You're a fool, because you're not going to get this money, because it takes so long, and the bureaucracy is unbelievable, and you plan on that you're depending on this financing, but it's not going to come." And unfortunately, he was partly right.
Really?
Yes, because I really took the money, but it was 2 years after I made the whole investment, because it took so long to pay. So if it wasn't for him that really sold his business and gave me all this money to start investing, because I had to invest so much on machinery.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was a big business, it was like production and selling. Well, and about this thing, production is very important. Gives you, it's not like all businesses are equal. Production, I think, is what women are very, very strong in. because we are made this way. We are made to produce. So let's make the most of it. I think it's in our DNA, in our genes to produce.
Were there any other obstacles or bad experience in the beginning or later on?
Are you kidding me? Well, right from the start, I must tell you, I had to do numerous appointments with people who would bring, whom I would buy from tables to fridges. And in the beginning, because I was new in the business, it would be like, it's all right, you're a nice person, you're probably a nice lady, and it's been good talking to you, but is it possible that there's a man in the company that I would be able to talk to business really with? Okay, so you're nice, but if there was a man, we would talk business. So this was the feeling that I was getting, and it's so unfair. It's so unfair, but you have to get over it. You receive this vibe, but you have to get over it. You have to fight it, because even the dumbest man is on equal terms on a business to business table discussion. But a woman is like, well, if she would bring us coffee or go to the photocopier, that would be nice. Apart from that, I don't know if she's going to make it. Or if she's talking really business. And you have to get over it. You have to just look him in the eye and say, yes, you don't know the shit about me. You're going to see me. And other than that, another problem that I faced was recruiting people to work with, which is a huge issue, and it still is. Now that everything has turned out fine, the thing that brings me a headache every day is that I have to deal with 20 people and their problems and their psychological status of the day, and the fact that most of the times they're not very concentrated on their jobs.
In the time of crisis, as we say in Greece, like it's a very tough time, like the last years for businesses, for people starting businesses, for businesses to keep up having profit, money, survive. I don't know.
Very tough.
And for a woman, with all of the obstacles that are coming to add to the existing ones, the financial ones, how you can explain the big success that your business had?
Well, I think that the success is there because I made something that did not exist in the market. It was unique. You could not buy gelato that good, that fresh, with Greek ingredients, with top-notch Italian ingredients, with a nice packaging, with all these things. This didn't exist. So this is the reason why.
Did you invest time? Did you plan your marketing strategy? And
are you kidding? I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating. I wasn't even breathing. I was planning for 4 years in a row. Even the idea of the logo was my idea. I worked together with a graphic designer, but I said, this is what I want.
If you have any questions, I think now is the time.
Yes, I'll be happy to answer.
We have no words. Thank you, it was really inspiring. I wanted just to ask, you said that your husband helped you with the investment for machinery. Did you have somebody else to support you, to take with you, to discuss ideas, or it was just only you?
Of course, he helped me a lot with the insights about business that he had been giving me through 20 years, because he used to have a business that really failed, and that was a big lesson for me. because he wasn't that kind of husband that would keep his problems to himself. And this sometimes stresses you enormously. Many times women, wives, say, well, why do you have to bring all these problems at home? Why don't you leave them outside the entrance door? I don't agree with this. I think that couples are powerful and they have to share their experiences, because the one learns from the other. I learned many things from him, from the problems he was facing. If he had never told me, I would have probably made the same mistakes. So at the beginning somebody might have said, he's stressing you out. No, he was teaching me.
I want to know which kind of strategy have you used in marketing. For example, have you used the internet in order to promote?
Yeah. Social media was very successful, and it's very easy to do it now. And of course, I was very lucky because the media in Greece supported me enormously. This was part of my strategy also, though, because I have been working as a gastronomy journalist for more than 5 years with all the famous magazines in Greece, which is a job that really wasn't paying. I have to tell you this. And in some of the cases, I was never paid for my job, but I did it on purpose. I had this plan that I had to keep the communication flowing between me and these people, because I got to know people, and the moment I opened my shop, they were there to help me. Well, this was part of my plan. And this is the other thing that I mentioned before, and I totally insist on this. It's not like paying jobs are always important. Learning jobs are very important. Sometimes we have to cut on our expenses and make a sacrifice in order to build our power.
I have a question. So how do you pay your employees? Do you pay the same like everybody else in the industry, or you pay them
more?
No,
I pay them more.
Because you get more.
I want them to be motivated, and I want them to be loyal.
And do you give them prizes or something if somebody is very good and stuff? Do you?
Yes, of course. I give prizes and also give bonuses during the summer months when we are very, very busy. And if they stay late, what I totally explained to everybody at the beginning is that this is not an 8 hours a day job. You just can't watch the clock and say it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now I leave everything and I go home. Well, this is not an office, and I had to find women that would understand this.
Faithful.
Yes. Loyal to the business, because it's very easy that the business is ruined from the inside, from the employers.
Back to the character, I think.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, so you hire only women?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
How many?
It's 20.
20
women. And mostly young women who have degrees, who would have trouble, usually they have trouble finding jobs in their exact field of what they have studied. For example, my right hand in the laboratory is a chemist with a doctorate.
What?
Yes. And we are so close. We're so close together. But I'm a mathematician. She's a chemist. We speak the same language.
You're freaky both.
Yeah.
So we have a gelateria near. I have to visit.
Yes, you have
because
to
I love
visit.
I will post the Facebook link of the ice cream shop, of Evi's ice cream shop.
Right off Syntagma Square, you definitely get a pass.
Tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow we have our cultural visit, so we can pass from Syntagma and then go to Acropolis.
Sure.
Okay. I think that's mostly it, at least for now. I will post also, as I've said, the Facebook page of Le Greco in order to check also the graphics and everything, like, because sometimes if you check also like how the company is presented online, you can also take some things from there. Evi, I would like to thank you so much.
I'm so happy to know you today. Don't thank me because it's been wonderful, wonderful seeing all these beautiful faces here and a man. It's not like we're crazy feminists.
It's very important for us to share.
Yes, because we empower ourselves, because women are taught to be reserved.
We take it. We must take it.
Yes, and we have to stop this. And we have to stop raising our daughters this way. They have to come out, they have to be strong, they have to be powerful. They have to make the most of their possibilities and of their traits. So this is what I wanted to teach my daughter, that a degree is not something you get imprisoned in. You can study one thing in the university and then do another thing in your life. And you have to see the world as your opportunity field, as your oyster, as they say. Just eat it in one bite. Don't be afraid. This is what I want to teach her through this.
Grazie.
Thank you.
I wish you from the bottom of my heart that you follow your dreams and that you make successful business stories, and that I'll be able in some years' time to read about your successful business stories.